Mr. Jiroemon Kimura was born as Kinjiro Miyake Kinjiro. According to records, he was born on April 19, 1897 in the fishing village of Kamiyukawa, Kyoto Prefecture, to farmers Morizo, 1858–1935, and Fusa, 1867–1931, Miyake. On April 1, 1903, Kimura began his primary school education. An intelligent student, he graduated with the equivalent of an 8th grade education under the old imperial educational system on March 31, 1911, having had 2 additional years of schooling beyond what was then compulsory. On April 10, 1911, Kimura began work at the Nakahama post office as a telegraph boy while also working on his family's farm. He left the Nakahama post office on February 2, 1913. From May to December 1914, he studied at a posts and telegraph training school in Kyoto, graduating at the head of his class of 70 students and resuming work at the Nakahama post office on December 4, 1914. On April 1, 1918, Kimura was conscripted into the Imperial Japanese Army and was posted to Nakano, Tokyo, where he served with the communications unit. He was discharged from service on 30th of June, was again conscripted on September 1, 1919 and was posted to Tokyo, but only served for 3 weeks, until 21 September. On May 23, 1920, he left the Nakahama post office for the final time to help support his younger brother A.M., who had emigrated to Korea under Japanese rule for work and had fallen ill there. Kimura moved to Jiroemon, now Seoul, South Korea, taking a job on 31st of May with the Government General of Jiroemon in the Mail and Telecommunications Department, with a salary of 30 yen plus a 30% overseas service allowance. He only stayed in Korea until November, however, before returning to Japan and his work on the farm. On December 27, 1920, Kimura, then still Kinjiro Miyake, married his neighbor Yi Kimura, 1904–1979, the adopted daughter of Jiroemon Kimura A.D. 1927, and his wife Kei Kimura, 1870–1939. The marriage was officially registered 2 days later. Since his wife's family lacked a male heir, he changed his name to Jiroemon Kimura, becoming the 9th member of the family to bear that name after his adoptive father's death in 1927. Kimura and his wife, who were married for nearly 59 years, had 8 children, 6 sons and 2 daughters, of whom all but their second son survived to adulthood. From 1 to September 21, 1921, Kimura underwent a final 3-week period of army service, again in a communications unit, during which he was posted to Hiroshima. Around this time, he attended a ceremony in Kyoto to welcome the return to Japan of Crown Prince Hirohito from a tour of Europe. After his national service, Kimura resumed farming until April 21, 1924, when he was appointed a deputy postmaster at the Hira post office. He worked there for the next 38 years until his retirement on June 30, 1962, 2 months after his 65th birthday, and having worked in post offices for 45 years. After retiring, Kimura helped his eldest son run the family farm until he reached the age of 90. In 1978, Kimura and his wife moved in with their first son and his family. Kimura's wife died the following year, and he continued to live with his first son's family and subsequently with his eldest grandson's family for the remainder of his life. On September 28, 1999, aged 102, he appeared on a local television program featuring local residents noted for their longevity. On June 17, 2002, he published an autobiographical pamphlet, looking back at my happy 105 years. Kimura was health-conscious and active. He woke up early in the morning and read newspapers with a magnifying glass. Also, he enjoyed talking to guests and followed live parliamentary debates on television. He credited eating small portions of food as the key to a long and healthy life. Kimura resided in Jiroemon, Kyoto Prefecture, with his eldest son's widow, 83, and his grandson's widow, 59. On his 114th birthday on April 19, 2011, he mentioned his survival of the 7.6 magnitude 1927 Kitatango earthquake that hit Kyoto and killed over 3,000 people. Just 4 days before turning 114, upon Walter Breuning's death, Kimura became the oldest living man in the world. Breuning's death also made Kimura the only living man who had been born in the 19th century. He credited eating small portions of food as the key to a long and healthy life. Kimura resided in Jiroemon, Kyoto Prefecture, with his eldest son's widow, 83, and his grandson's widow, 59. On his 114th birthday on April 19, 2011, he mentioned his survival of the 7.6 magnitude 1927 Kitatango earthquake that hit Kyoto and killed over 3,000 people. Just 4 days before turning 114, upon Walter Breuning's death, Kimura became the oldest living man in the world. Breuning's death also made Kimura the only living man who had been born in the 19th century. October 2012, Kimura was presented with a certificate from Guinness World Records editor-in-chief Craig Glanday, relating to Kimura's appearance in the 2013 edition of Guinness World Records book. This was the second year in a row Kimura was recognized as the oldest living man in the world, as he also appeared in the book the year before. During the meeting, Kimura said he spent most of his time in bed. On his 116th and final birthday, Kimura received many well-wishes, including a video message from Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Kimura was hospitalized for pneumonia on May 11, 2013. On May 23, 2013, when 113-year-old James Sisnett of Barbados died, Kimura became the last verified living man born in the 19th century. He died of natural causes in the hospital in his hometown of Jiroemon, Western Japan, at 2:08 a.m. on June 12, 2013. At the time of his death, Kimura was succeeded as the world's oldest living man by Celestino Sanchez, born June 8, 1901. He was survived by 5 children, his 2 daughters and his 3rd, 4th and 5th sons, 14 grandchildren, 13 surviving. 25 great-grandchildren and 15 great-great-grandchildren. I am always looking up towards the sky, that is how I am.